and welcome to round 2 of the Coventry Stadium Track Championships for BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars. Tonight we're going to have 3 heats, followed by a consolation race, and finally the grand final. And with over 60 cars here in the pits, we're in for a lively one. Now, before these cars can go out to race, they all have to be thoroughly checked for any problems. It's all about the safety. We have 2 guys here with us that check every car before they leave. Technical scrutineer Tony Webster. Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So what is your job and what do you have to check for before these cars are allowed out?
When they come round to us, we've got to check that, make sure seat belts are right, make sure nothing's hanging off the cars, make sure all the welds are right, making sure wheel nuts are tight, and making sure the crash helmets are okay.
Very important.
Very important.
Do you race yourself?
No, I don't race, no.
Would you?
If I had the money, yes, I probably would have a go, but I mean, you know, you've got to have a lot of money to do this sport.
I'm joined by one of our racers, Paul Hines. Hello, Paul. Thanks for talking to us for a moment. Now, stock car racing, as we know, is all about the power. We've spoken to the guys about the safety. There's a lot of that involved as well. Now to the engines. How do these cars actually work?
Yeah, I mean, they are absolutely right. They're all about the power. In each car we see today, we'll all have Chevy V8s. Most of us have Chevy V8s, producing around 800 brake horsepower, 8 litres V8 engines. I mean, you can hear them. They are unbelievable. And what they do with the sort of a straight line transmission through like what we call a Doug Nash gearbox.
Yeah.
Basically, that's only got 3 gears. It's got reverse for when you spin out. It's got crawler gear to get around the pits, and it's got race gear. Basically, it keeps it standard, it keeps it simple, if you know what I mean, because there's so much power going through them, you simply haven't got time to change gears. And what that does, actually, believe it or not, goes through a forward transit back axle. So basically, you see a transit van going down the road, well, we modify those axles to work in these cars. And like I say, to try and get 800 brake horsepower through there, it's a difficult job, but it stands up to it well. The engines, we tend to rebuild them every couple of years, really. I mean, we do quite a lot of meetings, so they do take a lot of looking after.
Do you use the same engines?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we try to, touch wood, as long as they don't have a problem. Then this engine will stay in this car now for the next 2 years.
Okay.
We change the oil every 3 meetings, try and keep them fresh, clean the air filters and things like that, try and keep the engine running as best we can. We obviously use super unleaded fuel, with sometimes a bit of fuel additive in there, try and make it go as quick as we can. But like I say, it's all about the power, as much power as possible.
Well, here's the cars rolling for heat race number 1 on this Coventry programme, the second Coventry Track Championship session of 2007. We see the graded order cars, the yellow grade cars going through the screen now. There's Mike Kingston in car number 188, the big wing atop the car. These BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars ready to race. A nice sunny, pleasant evening here at Coventry. The track prepared and being watered, and it's now ready for racing. Those are the blue grade cars. And now looking at the front of the grid, the novice grade, white grade drivers there, with Peter Eastman in car number 326 on the outside of that front row. 330 is Graham Wagstaff alongside 3 white grade drivers then at the front of the grid. They start to get up to speed now. The green flag has been thrown and away we go. Heat number 1 is underway, and Wagstaff there gets a bump going into the first turn straight away, and around he goes, just catches a wheel on the curb there. Up the curb he's gone, and it's 326 Eastman that leads the way in the early stages of heat race number 1. A 60 plus car field of BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars here at Coventry this evening. That means 3 heat races with the top 10 cars from each heat going forward to tonight's feature final. At the moment then, it's car number 326 leading the way and going well. That's Peter Eastman from Lincoln, the Lincolnshire man, leading novice grade driver. You can see advertising his sponsors on the side of the car as he races through. It's a great start for him. Bit of a trip down here from the Lincolnshire countryside to race here today. Some shots there from the fence side cam. And 188, Mike Kingston from the yellow grey. We saw him as the cars rolled round on the rolling lap. He seems to have got a good start there and it's going well. So there's the positions with 10 to go. 188 comes moving up into the lead there, as you can see. Number 4, Dan Johnson, the teenage sensation, moves up into second place, and Eastman in 326 dropping down the order somewhat. Car number 188, Mike Kingston from Cheshire, is our race leader, the yellow grade driver out front. And as we saw, really did get a nice start. The track looking super smooth here this evening. As you can see, there is a terrific crowd in the stadium once again. People all around the arena and up in the grandstands too, enjoying the racing here at the Coventry Stadium here this evening. Stock car racing been taking place here since 1954, an awful lot of continuous years of the sport. So here's our leader then, coming through now. Number 188 is Mike Kingston, and he's really going very well indeed at the moment. Of course, the top men at the back of the grid. There's the Craig Finnegan there in car number 55, who we saw in our first programme a month ago, going well. He's had a bit of a problem. He's been out to the fence and he's gone one lap down now. So hard work for Craig. He may well be heading to tonight's consolation last chance qualifying event. Now there's a former world champion. It's Murray Harrison in car number 97 using the bumper, and 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. coming through the field there. We saw Frankie Wayman Jr. win a heat here at Coventry in our last programme. 16 career final wins here at Coventry for Frankie, and overall nationally it's well over 200 now. Quite outstanding record. Our leader once again, still the yellow grey driver leading the way, Mike Kingston, coming around the turn behind Snoopy, who goes onto the centre tarmac there in car number 73. That's Rob Cowley, another favourite of the sport. Here we go with 5 laps to go. 188 Kingston the leader. Frankie Wayman Jr. 515 in second place. Another former world champion and top driver in the sport. So Junior Wayman there in second place. Now he's chasing, as you can see, Mike at the moment has opened out just a little bit of a lead, and Frankie Jr. is going to have to work hard. He's still got back markers to pass to catch him. So a great drive here from Mike Kingston, the yellow grey driver, and possibly here he could maybe hang on. 3 laps to go now. You saw the board swing down there. That's Tony Osborne up there on the starters rostrum. He's been the starter here at Coventry for many seasons. It wouldn't be quite the same without him. So he's putting the boards out, signalling to the drivers how many laps there are to go. There's 3:26 at the start of this race. Of course, Peter Eastman was leading the race momentarily. 188 Mike Kingston has now lapped him, gets out there in the dirt, gets the back wheels into the dirt, helps to propel him down the straight. Sometimes can be a faster way round than the maybe somewhat slicker inside line. So Mike uses that, and coming down the back straight, and he's still clear. Those drivers are catching him, but at the moment Kingston driving a good race here. He's got a good turn of speeds. It's around about 15 seconds a lap here on this quarter mile oval. It is a shell track, of course, also used for the Elite League Speedway here at Coventry. There's Tony waving the flag. It is a fine win there for Mike Kingston in car number 188. Well done to Mike. Frankie Wayman Jr. in a second spot, Murray Harrison third, and then finishing in fourth place there, Mark Gilbank.
Mike, congratulations. You won.
Yes, thank
You've got
you.
a nice shiny trophy there.
We have, yes, thank you very much. See if we can do another one today.
Well, so tell us a bit about the race. How did you know you were ahead? Did it feel good?
Yeah, you felt the white grades had a bit of an incident on the corner, so you got through. One yellow was in front, so I kept my eye on him, and then I think we made a pass somewhere, or he ran wide at the top, and we got through. And then the man on the stand, the lap man, he signals where you are in the race. And I think there was quite a bit of incident behind me which held all the faster ones up, so all I had to do was just drive nice and steady and keep my nerve and drive to the flag, and that's pretty much
It
what we
seems
did.
that's exactly what you did, Mike.
Yes.
But can you do it again is the question.
Well, we'll try. I wouldn't bet on it, but we'll try.
Oh, you beat Frankie.
Yeah, which is good. To beat any of them's good, you know. They're all equally as dangerous to me, you know. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the final.
Thank you.
Well, there's lots of jobs here at stock car racing. It doesn't stop at scrutineers and engineering. We've got a couple of lads here. What's your name?
Matthew.
Matthew and
James.
Okay, James. What's your special job here at stock car racing?
Junior Mr. Starter.
You're
Junior Mr. Starter.
so what does that mean you have to do?
Copy the proper starter.
And do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
And do both of you do that? Do you do that as well?
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing it for?
About 6 years.
So who's your favourite driver?
Frankie Wayman Jr.
Frankie Wayman Jr. What about you?
Frankie Wayman Jr.
Frankie Wayman Jr. I'm feeling a lot of love here for Frankie. Are you going to drive cars when you're older?
No, I'm going to do starting.
No?
No.
No, never?
No.
What about you?
Probably starting.
Yeah? Ooh, well, congratulations, you two. We're going to go and have a watch of the race. You've got to get back to work, haven't you?
Yeah.
We'll leave you to it then.
Heat race number 2 now. We have around about 20 cars in each of these heat races. When we come to the feature final a little bit later on, the main event of the evening, here it is over 30 cars on track. Once again, we see the white grade, novice grade drivers at the front, and this time we've got onboard cameras with Matt Newson from Norwich in Norfolk, young man that came up through the junior mini stock class. You can race in that class between the ages of 10 and 16, and Matt did. He went all over the country racing his mini, and then jumped straight up as soon as he was old enough, jumped straight into a big V8 Formula One stock car, and he's been there ever since for the last 3 or 4 years, racing with the big league. Good little driver, the East Anglian there, Matt Newson. We're going to be seeing some shots from inside his car. There's Russell Cooper in 415. We're going to be seeing some shots from the rear of Russell's car, and that's going to be interesting too. Back in the car with Matt Newson as the cars get up to speed now. The rolling starts in the stock car races, and now we're up to speed. The race is underway, and you can see some knocking up, barging, and a spinner down there on the turn as this one gets underway. Once again from the fence cam there, Russell Cooper. This is the camera. This is what it looks like from the back of the car. Of course, not too many drivers are looking back there. They do have a mirror inside the cab, so they are looking to see who's coming up behind. But anyway, got to concentrate on the track in front. Ezra Cooper at the moment in 415, the novice grade driver, getting a good start there. Chris Bonner in 105 ahead as he moves down the inside, right up against the curb on the inside line there, working that steering wheel back and forth on what must seem like a very short track for these drivers, and these are big heavy race cars to pull around the arena. Big bumper comes into view there on the inside, so Matt Newson's really got his hands full at the moment with cars all over him, battling at the moment to try and get past, and meantime he's trying to come back through the field also. So Matt Newson in car number 16 and battling at the moment to try and make up that place from the back of the field. Meanwhile, back at the front, here's Russell Cooper using that bumper, the big heave-ho there, moves over the competitor from the white grade there. There's 223 who was leading. Cooper's just moved him over in actual fact. Gary Townsend driving that 223 car and has gone through to take the lead. So Russell Cooper sideways on the turn. That's all part of this Formula One stock car racing. All this power, brute force and sophistication. That's what we say in Formula One stock car racing. And when it's on a shell track like tonight, it's great to watch the cars drifting around the turns sideways with the back end there, flying out there in the dirt. Let's get some great shots from inside Matt Newson's car. So this heat race number 2, the top 10 to go through from this one. And at the moment, the white grey driver there, must be that lucky camera on the car. He's going well. He's out front, Russell Cooper. Is back on board with Matt Newson as he tries to work his way back up through the field. Because the more points you score in the BriSCA grading chance, the further back down the grid you go. Hardly have to work. Matt Newson there didn't take his foot off the accelerator at all as he came around the turn. A car going right across the front of him, but he kept his boot in there, kept it going, kept it up to speed, and we're now back on the back of Russell Cooper's car, looking back down the racetrack. And there he is, 415. Russell Cooper, our race leader. On the backstretch, he races now. He's got a nice little comfortable lead at the moment. He's really letting the car slide out into the dirt, and so far so good. He's looking to book a spot in the grand final tonight. We can see car number 493 racing right behind him at the moment. It's Andy Powell from Manchester, and he is a back marker at this stage. Russell Cooper looks back down the racetrack at Andy, and that lovely sunset here in the Midlands this evening too. Matt Newson in car number 16. Paul Harrison is ahead in car number 2. You can see the mirror in the top of the cab there. Matt just keeping an eye on that as he races around. And with 5 to go, Russell Cooper the leader, 242. Dave Nichols in second place, and car number 37 in third place, Chris Cowley from Nuneaton. That's the way they run the last 5. Looking good for Russell at this stage, but still some of the top liners from the back of the grid working their way through the field. Matt all the time in Formula One stock car racing. With such a small oval, of course, there's always going to be traffic on the track, so there's always plenty to think about in these races that last. These 16 lap heat races last just over 4 minutes, sometimes 4 2.5 minutes or so. It's full power on, and you really know about it at the end of the race. There's Will Yarrow coming into view now. So Dave Nichols second in 2:42. There's Dave, and right behind him is 22 Will Yarrow, who comes from Kettering and has been involved in this sport for some time. Good, classy driver, Will Yarrow. At the moment, we're back in Matt Newson's car. He's up behind the 37 car, who has dropped down the order a little bit, Chris Cowley. Matt Newson is definitely moving up through the field. He's up there in the top 10, and here comes the bumper on the Russell Cooper. That's the race leader there, getting pushed over by Will Yarrow. Well, Will Yarrow moves up inside the Dave Nichols car. It was the race leader. We saw Russell Cooper not being pushed by Will Yarrow. In fact, Will Yarrow pushing the 242 car of Dave Nichols. Cooper has been pushed aside. He's gone back down the order, and 22 has come through to take the win there. Good driving from Will Yarrow. With 5 laps to go, he was back in about 4th position, so he's really worked hard. He takes the win. Dave Nichols second. You see poor old Russell Cooper there, that bumper going in and pushing him aside. He ends up in 8th place.
Will Yarrow, winner of heat number 2. Well done. You kind of took it at the end there, didn't you?
Yeah, sometimes with us starting at the back it can be hard, and I could see them two at the front with only a few laps to go, and whether I took him on the last but one bend or the last bend is sometimes a bit risky because he can have a go at you on that last bend, but I thought I'd catch him unawares and it worked out well.
So is this what you're thinking when you're in your car and you can see in front of you? Is that what you have strategy in your head?
Yeah, when it gets towards the end and you got the starter, obviously he's telling you who's first, second, so when you're up to sort of 3rd or 4th you can sort of work out where you are. With the two in front, with them being lower graders, you feel you got a bit over on them that you can probably do them. I couldn't see anyone that was any worrying behind me, so I just went for it. It worked out well.
And it worked. Well, congratulations for winning. Keep your trophy and we'll see you at the final.
Hopefully same place. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, heat race number 3, the last of our qualifying heats. The white grey driver's just going through our screen now. Car number 96, Adam Perkins. He comes from Staffordshire and out there on the track to see if he can qualify and get through to the grand final here tonight. In this race also, number 33, watch out for him, the former 4 times world champion, that is Peter Folding, starting from the back of the grid. At the moment we're looking at the yellow grade, the 2nd grade. Dave Willis in car number 337 on the front row of them, and Jeff Nichols at the back of the yellow grade cars in number 215. Next up, it's the blue grade cars coming into view now on their rolling lap. There's Dan Squire in 291, and the star grade cars at the back, that's where we find Peter Folding and Frankie Wayman Sr. in this one. Smala is out. Neil Scarfham, who won a race here at Coventry in our last Channel 5 programme. 307 at the front of the grid is Tim Warwick from Bedford. He's the local man, popular with the fans here, a real trier, and he never gives in. Tim Warwick takes the flag at the start of heat race number 3, works that well on his V8 stock car, and he's underway and racing down that back straight. Good start for Tim there. Bit of a sprint car fan is Tim. Loves nothing better than a trip to the States to watch the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. But back here at home, he's leading the way. 118 is spun out there. Steve Harrison spun out in the early stages. Around he goes, a little magic roundabout turn for Steve. Tim Warwick gets going, and he knows that he's got the lead now, but he's got to try and hang on to it for 16 laps of racing. And the top drivers, people like Peter Folding at the back of the field there, are going to be making their way through. So here's Tim. He's had some big crashes in his time. He's caused some big crashes in his stock car career too, and he has been with this sport, always BriSCA Formula 1 stock cars for a long time now. You just see a little bit of the dampness, a little bit of steam, smoke coming off the back tyre there as he comes out of the turn. 383 in 2nd place. 198 Nigel Worley moving up. There's Dave Johnson in 383, the blue grade driver at the moment, running down the back straight. 198 Nigel Worley is another favourite here at Coventry, and there he is. There's Worley just sort of back of the car in picture there. There's Tim again leading the way. Dave Johnson there in 2nd place, just nibbling at the back bumper of that 307 car, but Tim for the moment keeps them at bay. And we see Nigel Worley, the yellow grade driver, number 198, coming through there now. So there's Dan Squire, another blue grade driver, another young charger, and really good he is too. Look at the big V8 Bjork cowling there, so something a little bit different there for Dan Squire, and he's got the cowling there protecting the air filter on top of the carburettor. Now down the back straight, Tim Warwick in trouble there. It's been moved over. Dave Johnson has got him up against the Armco, and he's dropped back into 4th place behind Dan Squire. So problems for Tim. He goes back down the order, but still a chance to